public health advocacy, as well as civic engagement work around teaching and training folks on the political process through civic engagement, okay? And so we're going to combine that sort of today as well. And so just to get into the discussion, man, several years ago I had an opportunity post-Katrina to try and bring community stakeholders together with public health practitioners, mainly because we had a new public health infrastructure in New Orleans, right? The big charity was closed, and several community health clinics and primary clinics were open. And a lot of the information about those clinics was primarily web-based, right? It was my gripe with the city, but we decided to do something about it by bringing together those stakeholders, those leaders from the community health and primary clinics, and bring them together with residents so they can have an opportunity to discuss and share mapping of where these clinics are. Also, exactly what those clinics offer and resources, right? But even today, we haven't sort of kept that trend of bringing folks together to have those conversations. And so primarily what we're going to talk about today is how communications creates divide, but also causes, in a lot of sense, disparities in terms of public health, right? And so without further ado, we're going to get into some of these slides. And the first slide is based on, we're going to talk about social determinants of health, right? So to bridge that gap between disparity and equity, social determinants of health is the answer, right? But oftentimes when we look at models of social determinants of health, communications is often left out. You can Google this, you'll see communication sometimes, and sometimes you will not, right? But what we'll do initially is get folks to read a few of these slides, right? You can all read in here, right? All right, we'll try, okay. And if you don't raise your hand to read, I'm just going to call on you, all right? Okay, all right, so who's going to read this one first? You in the back with the hair.
The world
Can you see it? Is it fair? I'm not sure if it's fair. Can you see it from back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
The World Health Organization defines
Listen loud.
the World Health Organization defines the social determinants of health as the conditions in which people are born, grow, live, work, and age. These circumstances are shaped by the distribution of money, power, and resources at global, national, and local levels.
I love that that I discovered this, right? Part of the work that came out of bringing those folks together several years ago was having an opportunity to sit on the steering committee for the Community Health Improvement Project, which is the annual accreditation process for the Department of Health in New Orleans. And we've been able to come up with a health and health policy statement that will, in effect, allow the department to develop and create programs through the social determinants of health lens, right? Taking into account not just the fact that you may not have resources in terms of money, et cetera, but just that taking into account that the conditions that we're born in can have an effect on our outcomes, right? And so for me, you know, I was born at the edge of the skyline in the heart of the ghetto of New Orleans. I earned my way into Jesuit High. I took a football scholarship to LSU, but I was a mama's boy. You know, I always did everything she told me. So when she told me to go out and break a leg, I did just that. That finally landed, man. But you know, in terms of those conditions, this is probably the most important thing, right? Because it doesn't mean that you're not going to make it. It just means that it's maybe a little bit tougher, depending on where you're born, right? And so just again, remember this model, because we're going to come back to this with the next slide. This is often left out. And because this is left out, we're not hitting on all cylinders in terms of having folks access all of these things, right? The problem with the Department of Health at the time was that all the information was web-based, and we have what we call the digital divide, right? So here's the next slide. The digital divide and racial disparities, right? I won't get someone to read both of these, but maybe just one. One more person. Someone a little bit closer. Jared, just because I know him.
The gulf between those who have access to information technology and those who do not is often called the digital divide. Differences in income and education levels are leading factors that are contributing to the divide in the U.S., according to the third of 3 studies by the National Television